All right, everyone, welcome back. It is another Monday, another check mark in the days of February. We've got another manga episode for you guys. Welcome back to the MangaVerse. Yes, we have asked Doctor Strange to once again destroy the multiverse so we can go into the MangaVerse and take a look all that's going on when it comes to manga, and we'll dive a little bit into anime as well. They kind of go hand in hand at this point, and you can't usually have one without the other. So we're just going to go ahead and dive right into it. Welcome, everyone. I am your host, the Ice Dragon, Rayron VR. We got a couple of news to go through. I've got some manga books I'm going to highlight in the upcoming manga spotlight videos, and we'll go from there. But this probably won't go too long, just because I am definitely a little bit tired. Work definitely drained me, and probably shooting for maybe half an hour at most. So we'll see. We'll see how long we get through these articles. So we've got some manga news to cover down. So let's go ahead and just dive right into it. So let's go ahead and bring up our first article of the stream. All right, so this comes from Bounding into Comics. We've got Netmarble announces that Seven Deadly Sins Origin swaps Grand Cross turn-based gameplay for open world action. So as you guys know, Seven Deadly Sins is a manga series, also adapted into anime, and now looks like it's going to be adapted into a game. But again, Netmarble, which is, from what I know, known for mobile games. So we'll see how that goes. Netmarble has officially announced that Seven Deadly Sins Origin, an open world action sequel to their previous turn based mobile title, again, mobile title, Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross. So Netmarble announced their latest take on Nakaba Sasuke's popular manga during the 5th annual Netmarble Together press event held recently on January 27th. While very little was accurately revealed about the title, it appears via machine translation provided by Google Translate that the upcoming sequel to Grand Cross will be released across PC, console, and mobile to tell an original multiverse story featuring new characters. Okay, so everything is going to multiverses, different timelines. I mean, I've got a parody of with the MangaVerse here. But here is the problem when it comes to multiverses. And we'll kind of get into that a little bit here when it comes to. I was going to talk about Halo, but Halo doesn't really fit in this stream. But, we see this from time and time again. It's like, we're going to go into a story. We're going to have our own multiple universes. We're going to have our own spins off things. We're going to have our own timeline on a particular story. And the problem with that is you get viewership fatigued because, like, you go into a story that you are familiar with, and then now you have to basically you get the same characters, but you get a totally different story as a result, which I think is just lazy writing. It's just another excuse of, I can do whatever I want. We're not going to do, the faithful adaptation to it. It is kind of a get out of jail free card that, oh, you didn't like it? Well, sorry, it wasn't made for you. We get that type of arguments. And here we are again, another franchise that's going to get the multiverse treatment, which means they're probably going to put it in a different universe or a different timeline. And we're just going to go down that rabbit hole again. I don't get it. Following the success of Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross, the Seven Deadly Sins Origin, which is being prepared as a sequel, presents an origin multiverse story and an open world with a high degree of freedom. Again, take that with a grain of salt. We shall see. Send Marble in their official press release. This game contains a new protagonist and the adventures of various characters appearing in Seven Deadly Sins and Apocalypse, and can be enjoyed on multiple platforms, including mobile, PC, and console. The minute you see mobile in these type of sentences, coming from a gaming perspective, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a good thing, because normally the mobile platform hinders PC and consoles. So you know what they're going to do. They're going to come out for mobile, and they got to port it to PC. They got to port it to console. And if not done correctly, it can be just a giant turd, essentially, when it comes to that. So Yeah, we shall see how that happens. Again, all these adaptations, multiverses, timelines, different timelines. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. So, Seven Deadly Sins getting another game. So, speaking about live action and what not to do, live action One Piece coming to Netflix. Again, this was announced or a couple of weeks ago. And so the iconic pirate manga One Piece is getting a Western live adaptation drama adaptation. Oh my goodness. Where have we seen this before? Netflix. Where have we seen this before? Live action Cowboy Bebop? Sometimes there are just some things that are just not meant to be adapted into real life. These mangas are definitely one of that. We've seen what happens when they try to adapt something to live action. There are just things about a manga, things about anime that you cannot capture in the physics world of just real life action. Sure, you can put a lot of CG into it to try to mimic it. However, you're going to have to put a lot more money and invest a lot more into it, time, resources, um, into producing if you want a true one-to-one adaptation of it. And let's just be frank, it always falls short. Death Note being another one. Cowboy Bebop, soon to be Halo. Like, they're just some things that are just not meant to be adapted. And that's why, I typically say manga and anime typically go hand in hand because, animation, you can get away with doing basically whatever you want, given that you've got time and money. But let's just be frank. There's just a lot of things that you cannot really capture when it comes to live action. The 10-episode series will stream exclusively on Netflix as a Netflix original. The manga's original author, Chiru, I'm sorry if I'm butchering this, is on board as an executive producer. He also released an official comment stating his excitement for the project. And there's the excitement of the creator there. The live action drama adaptation was first announced back in 2017 as part of the franchise 20th anniversary celebrations. Netflix is collaborating with Tomorrow Studio. Oh no, which is also working on the Cowboy Bebop live action adaptation. Oh no. I didn't realize it was the same studios. Oh man, that's going to go over well. That's going to go over well. Along with Shuichi, the publisher of the One Piece manga. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And let's just say that oof. Yeah, that's not good news. That's not good news. I would definitely not watch this. I do have volume 1. Eventually I will get into One Piece, but again, the daunting task that there's 100 volumes of One Piece, like, okay, here we go. I'm definitely going to try to do a marathon once I get enough volumes to do it. But we'll see. I'll eventually end up reading volume 1 here. Wow, crazy. Crazy that the same studio is made that disastrous Cowboy Bebop live action adaptation is also doing the One Piece. That's just setting yourself up for failure. And see, and it goes back, and this is something that I've been wanting to do. I'm eventually going to make a video about gatekeeping. I'm still gathering my pieces of how I want to present it. But, my thesis on it is that 50% fandom needs to gatekeep, 50% the main creator needs to gatekeep it. The minute the owner sells their work to a company, that's when gatekeeping starts to fall apart. We see it with Star Trek. We see it with Star Wars, Doctor Who. The minute a creative franchise goes corporate, it tends to fall apart because then they lose touch with the fan base. They start alienating the fan base. And it's just, I yeah, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Poor One Piece. I feel for the fans. I really do. I hope they do a good job because otherwise it's gonna flop just like Cowboy Bebop did. Just like Cowboy Bebop did. All right, we're going to go on to our next article here. The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess manga adaptation nears its end. The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess has a long running manga adaptation that is finally approaching its conclusion. The manga's creators, the writer and artist team that has fused into a single hive mind, pseudo miscellaneous name, Akira Himkawi, tweeted they have submitted a draft of the final chapter before starting to work on it. I don't know how. Let's take a look at that. How many volumes does this Zelda Twilight Princess? I've got volume 1, which I will eventually do a video on. But I've been kind of distracted with some of these other mangas that a lot of people have been talking about. And so it's like I've been definitely getting different priorities here. So I'm trying to figure out Legend of Zelda manga. How many volumes do we have? How many volumes do we have? Let's see here. So looks like they're up to 10 volumes. Up to 10 volumes. Interesting. The finale will be likely be adapting the last moments of the game from the epic final battle with Ganondorf. My goodness, Gandalf. This is not Lord of the Rings. I did a stream on Saturday talking about Lord of the Rings and the Rings of Power. Yeah, Ganondorf. I always want to say Gandalf. I don't know why. Anyways, see a iconic shot of his defeat, along with the rival of Midna's true form as she returns to the Twilight Realm. So this is all based on the game, which I haven't played the game. So it looks like it's a direct manga adaptation. And I prefer that too. It's like if I could, out of all of the formats that I've enjoyed stories on, oh man, manga has just blown me away on the platform. Anime too. But there's just something about it. So as the manga catches up with the game, it's going to come to an end. So yeah, I would say about this summer, I think it will be probably the final volume. I don't think it goes into exactly when the release date is. The final volume of Twilight will be out sometime in 2022 with the English translation to follow. And that's the other thing we got to take into consideration is that when they announced that the final volumes are going to be written, that's the Japanese version, and then it's eventually got to get translated and adapted to English. So, yep, Zelda coming to an end. coming to an end. All right, and then the final news article for the MangaVerse. We've got Card Capture Core sequel to launch in Nakayoshi's July issue. So this is one that I'm definitely going to review eventually. Again, I've read all of through Card Capture Sakura long before I started these channels. It is definitely one that I've enjoyed. It was this. So I knew about Card Capture Sakura manga before I knew that Sailor Moon had a manga. It's one I've been wanting to get into and finally did after they started to do another reprint of Card Capture Sakura. In celebration of Card Capture Sakura's 20th anniversary, a new manga sequel will be released by Clamp in July's issue of Nakayoshi magazine. The magazine goes on sale June 3rd. The sequel will take place in Sakura's first year of junior high. So one thing I'm starting to see a trend in this too is like we're starting to see a lot of like prequels and spin-offs to mangas and so forth. I don't understand why we need to do this, especially if you're getting into manga right now. There are a lot of spin-off stories, so sometimes you got to be very cognizant of what books you're buying, because like if you want to watch or if you want to read an original manga, you got to be make sure that's the original story, because it could be a spin-off of the original story. I'm trying to think what's a good example of that. I think Fairy Tale's got a spin-off. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of spin-offs that are happening. And so you just gotta pay attention to it. So I'm hoping this will stay true, but we'll see. We'll see what happens here. On top of that, as part of the celebration of the compilation of previous illustrations, was released for 36,000 yen, about $34, and the Cloud Card arc of Card Capture Sakura's anime began rerunning on NHS Premium every Wednesday starting April 6th. Also, a frame stamp set with new illustrations from Clamp was released as Card Capture's core theme cafe, and Animate has opened in various locations. Cool. So again, they're going to get a spin-off of Card Capture Core. So that was something that I'll look into to see if it actually comes out in manga format or not. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. See how that goes. Okay, so what have I been doing lately? So I've been pretty busy, so I had to take a little bit of break, just from manga reading in general, but I finally picked things back up. And I asked you guys, like I kind of had my reading list already. So I'll show you guys what is coming up. But I did a Twitter poll to see what you guys wanted me to read next, because I couldn't decide. It got to the point that, I was having a hankering for like love manga stories and just like rom-coms. And then I started to get kind of burnt out on rom-coms, and it's like, okay, I wanted some more like actiony type of mangas. And so I asked you guys on Twitter. So again, follow me on Twitter if you want to participate in what books you want to see me read next. And ironically, it came down to a 50-50 win between two mangas. So I had to do a tiebreaker. And so I asked you guys on the Twitterverse, what manga should I read next? So I was stuck between Berserk Volume 1, Black Clover Volume 1, and Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 0. And we had a tie. It was 50-50. So I basically was a tiebreaker, and I decided, okay, whichever one had the vote first, which was Black Clover. And I'm glad I started reading it, because Black Clover is a very fun read. It was kind of crazy at first, and there were some points to the story that I had to kind of plow through, because it was just kind of absurd with the main character. It was super hyper, I guess is the best way to describe him. And so I've got Black Clover that and then after that I'll probably do another poll to see where I go next. But I'm gonna show you guys the books. show you guys lit books. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. Let's do this and let's add to stream. Okay, so here we are. These three is what I have been working on. So the quaint essential quintuplets. Try to say that 10 times fast. That is a tongue twister to say the least. So once this is going to be the next video, and then after that, I've got a Kame ga Kill, which is another interesting one. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I just felt a little bit of spoilers to my video. I felt like it was a little bit rushed with the story as far as setting up the world, but I was convinced of the world by the end of it. I'll talk more about this story soon. This will be my second video. So probably once I'm done here, I'll pop out these two videos. I think I can get these two done by today and get them uploaded and so forth. The kind of depends how I feel, but we'll see. Black Clover, I am having so much fun with. Because it actually brought me back to the time that I was in theaters and I was getting ready to watch the first Harry Potter, the Sorcerers of Stone movie, which is the first of the Harry Potters. And Black Clover really brought me back to an era that I thought I was never going to really feel, because the Harry Potter series was, I grew up with them. I watched all of them with my father, and it was quite a journey to go through, seeing the kids grow up and seeing all the different schools and everything, and eventually fighting the Voldemort and so forth, and how dark that got. Black Clover really brought me back to that type of world, and I'm only halfway through it, but I'm planning on finishing it tonight. But Black Clover had it felt like a very mature story of Harry Potter in a way. I'll go more into detail when I go into my spotlight video on it. But it was truly something. Like, I was it was midnight last night. I realized I need to stop reading. I was so addicted to it. But it's quite a story. It's unique, and it's the first story that really brought me back into just, what I felt when I was watching Harry Potter. So, I am excited for Black Clover. Very, very excited for it. So, that is what I have been working on. And we'll get those out here relatively soon. So, trying to think what's next. So, after these three, I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to go next. I think the next manga really need to do is I need to get my next Sailor Moon Volume 6 out, because it's getting to the point that I kind of just want to finish that volume series, but we'll see. I don't want to burn myself out either. But yeah, I'm enjoying these particular mangas, and these stories are just really good. It's something that Hollywood is failing to capture. I mean, you just look at these three right here, and they're so drastically different with their own unique characters, unique abilities, powers, relationships, chemistry, dare I say, theme. Just the world building in itself is really good. So, yeah, I can't wait to get these out. So, yeah, as soon as this is over, I'm gonna go ahead and start working on the first one. Will be the quaint essential quintuplets, which is again a freaking mouthful. Akame ga Kill, and then Black Clover. So, yeah, that is what I am working on. I am definitely excited. Definitely excited. And if you guys have any recommendations for any manga that I should read, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. Again, I'll try to spotlight all those that have recommended me mangas to particularly read. and yeah, we'll go from there. But with it, guys, like I said, I'm gonna keep this live stream short. Um, I'm getting over a headache that I had most of the day, and I still got these two videos that I want to pump out. So just to get myself caught up, because again, I keep finding myself when I dive into a story, I could one shot these volumes in about 2 hours. Is usually what it takes me. I think some people can read them faster, but if I'm really involved in a story, I can one shot it. So, and then I get behind because it takes me a little bit to script out what I want to say in the videos and actually record it, then edit and then upload. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and work on those videos. But that's all I got for this episode of the MangaVerse. So some things coming up on the channels. So coming Saturday, we've got the next episode of the Icy Layer podcast. We've got a lot of things to talk about already, and it's only Monday of this week. So yeah, definitely a lot of things are going on, especially in the sports world too. So yeah, we got that on the 12th, and then on the 19th, and then we'll be back here on Valentine's Day. We'll probably do a Valentine's Day special, is probably what we're going to end up doing for the MangaVerse on the 14th. Some just good romantic love stories. So we'll talk about that next week. So I'm trying to think what else. And again, on the 23rd, on the Endless Collectibles channel, we got our very first special guest, Tommytron from Geeks and Gamers, is going to be joining us to talk about the joys of collecting. So definitely mark your calendar, save the date. It's going to be a very fun podcast. I am very, very excited for that one. Something unique, something different. And yeah, cannot wait. Cannot wait. All right, guys. So with that, from myself, your host, the Ice Dragon, thank you guys so much for watching this podcast, episode number 4 of the MangaVerse. And with that, again, if you have any recommendations for mangas that I should look into for a spotlight video, feel free to leave a comment down below. If you enjoy what I'm doing here, feel free to look at all the links down below to help support me and the Icy Fellowship. And I'll see you guys on the next MangaVerse on the 14th, Valentine's Day 14th. With that, guys, take it easy, and I'll see you on the next episode.